Going on, family? This is our weekly watch list video and our weekly outlook video. First thing first, want to start off with major red news. I believe we have major red news on Friday, and I think we have major red news on Monday. To start, we have a crazy earnings week coming up with a lot of big names. Might shake the market up, might not, but we're going to be prepared for that. Some of the top earnings I will be looking at is Coca-Cola, Microsoft, Verizon. We have RTX, we have Snapchat, Visa. The list goes on. So be sure to check in the Discord for the earnings. We have Meta, Amazon, just a lot of things that can move the market either way. So just be prepared for that. First things first, we want to start with is the macros. We want to know what futures is doing. I'm going to start off with YM, the Dow Jones. Starting up from the top, working my way down. We have a 2 up, 2 down that triggered with continuity pointing fully to the downside. As you can see, we're approaching some levels here that price like to get brought up. So we still have a little bit more ways to go to the downside. We'll be paying attention to that. We go on to the weekly. We got a nice 3 on that week. So we might get a 3-2 down, depending on how the market goes. Continuity is pointing to the downside. So I would expect some more bloody to be in the market. Let's check out the NASDAQ. Start from the quarter. This is nice. NASDAQ is looking up a 2 up, 2 down on the QR, below 14,586. So what this tells me is a lot of tech stocks might be heading to the downside. Come to the month, we got a 2 month, 2 down month continuation load in here. I also want to watch out for this area as price seems to bounce from this area. Look at the wicks, we bounce from here. We also bounced from here in the past. So my whole analysis is if we end up getting through, I believe we have some more downside to see. So I'm gonna be watching to see if we're gonna bounce from this area or we're gonna drop, because I believe that if we end up dropping below 14,586, we have some downside to go. Well, it depends on how the week play out. We're gonna see what happens at this level here, but I'm excited for some more downside. Let's go to ES. Okay, we're gonna start from the top. ES already triggered this 2 down, 2 up, so we waiting on NASDAQ. Wait on NASDAQ. We also approaching some major levels here at $4,208.50. Let's come down to that month. Yeah, so we seem to get brought up in this area. I'm gonna be watching these areas to see if we can get below. I'm seeing we heading towards some chop. So if price start to get in this area, especially at the point of control, we can start to see some movement play around there. I don't know if we're gonna chop up or bounce back to the upside, but for right now, everything is pointing down. We got a little bit more room until we get to that area, as I can see. All you got to do is zoom out and look to the left. It's going to tell you everything we need to know. So this is a point range that we dropping into, and I want to see how that play out. With that being said, for the watch list, potential swings, we have D-Dog. I like D-Dog going to the downside. Reason being is, again, we start from the quarter. D-Dog got a nice 2 up, 2 down pending. Is also sitting at a major level. So my major concern is that trigger. It might bounce before it heads back down. The reason why I say that is, again, if you look to the left of this, we tend to bounce in this area. So it bounced here, it bounced here, it bounced all over here. So we might get that trigger, but I want to watch this closely. If it ends up falling, the first target I have is $78.18 and then $75.19, which is a yearly low. Let's go to the yearly chart. My mistake, that's not a yearly low, but that's the low of this previous quarters over here. So I want to see if we're going to make that to the downside. Go to the week. We're still struggling at, we triggered the 2 down on the month. We're still struggling. We're going to see if we could break this. If we go below, I have a trigger below the quarter, and we could take this trigger below the week to the downside. First target again is 78.18. Want to see how that plays out. If that doesn't happen, expect a bounce back to the upside. This will all depends on the sentiment of the market. If we can get NASDAQ to continue dropping, D-Dog should be a good one. My next one is the video. So a lot of the chips is also pointing to the downside. We have a potential 2 up, 2 down on a quarter. at $403.11. We go down to the month, we have a nice potential 312. Again, we hitting some critical areas. So even though the setup is there, I just want to check and see if we're gonna either bounce or go through. If we do go through, I expect a retest before we continue dropping down, something like this. Trigger, retest, back down. That's what I'm gonna be looking for. I will have some targets set up in the Discord. Our first target could be for the swings, $373.53, 56 cents, sorry. And if you come down to the week, we probably have some more short-term targets, which could be this one right here, $386.18. Again, if you just look, price do bounce in this area. Institutions find value in this area. So it all depends on the market. I have no bias. I'm just playing it towards continuity, but we're gonna see what happens. My last one I have for this week is Roblox. Roblox been holding very, very strong. It's been green on all time frames, starting from the QR. Come down to, we're looking at the 2-up continuation on the week. Comes down to the day, we have a nice 2-1 and a nice gap to fill. First short-term target would be $33.70. And our long-term weekly target would be $36.62, and then $37.61. So that's it. You know, weekly outlook, everything looking a little bloody. We have some major earnings that could push things back up. Who knows? But continuity is pointing down. And that's the 3 main stocks I'm looking at for now. Come Monday, come Tuesday, we see how things open up. Things might change. I have some things to add on the list, some things to take off the list, but that's what we're looking at for right now. Y'all have a good weekend and peace.